This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so much!
On 97.7 FM, The City.
Greetings, blessings, and good fortune, everybody. It's a Thursday. This is, I believe, the 6th of November. Yes, and yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We are 97.7 KCYP, The City, out of McAllen, Texas. The McAllen Creative Incubator is where we are located. We are also going out on YouTube. We're going out on Facebook. We're going out on TuneIn Radio and Radio Garden. Two apps that if you like radio, you will love these apps. And you'll love our show. Now, I want to give you a great and warm welcome to our show, the Bitcoin Otter Show. But at the same time, I want to let you know that our world is crazy. In fact, I didn't have to tell you that, did I? You know that already. You're aware of these things. So I'm just going to let you know why it's so crazy. And hopefully give you a little bit of hope that it's not going to be this crazy for a lot longer. That's my opinion. I'm the optimist here, right? All right. Let me go into the economic barometer, which says that Bitcoin is $101,000 today. Now, you may or may not have been paying attention, but the fact of the matter is Bitcoin is what many would consider tanking. Yeah, it's down, right? So many people see this as a time to sell. Personally, this is a time to buy. This is a buy the dip opportunity. Now, if you want to tell me that, you have other ideas, you want to get out now, you'll take, losses, whatever. The first thing I will tell you is this. It seems like you may have been playing with the rent money. Don't ever do that. Don't ever play with the rent money or the car note money or any other thing that is going to put you in a compromising situation. Okay? You don't want to do that. So what is the alternative? Well, the alternative is use the money that if you lose it, you don't have to worry about paying the bills. Now, I know there's not a lot of that rolling around in our society anymore. But by the same token, I want to let you know that it can be done. So if you're finding yourself behind the eight ball, you got to sell. But at the same time, I would say, and I would hope that you don't. Why? Because this is an opportunity. And we're going to go again into this with silver and gold. Silver is $48.35. Gold is just under $4,000. A lot of people didn't think it was going to get below $4,000. Well, it has. And again, it's from the same criminal enterprise that brought us as low as it's been through generations, right? The usual suspects, if you will. Now, these usual suspects not only deflate real money, they inflate their fake money via interest rates. So the average mortgage rate is 30-year lock-in at 6.19. Now you might say, hey, Otter, it's going down. It is slowly going down, but still 6.19 compared to recent year, maybe not recent, but fairly close on the event horizon. Sue, good to see you. Hello. Hi, Dad. Hi, Jim, if you guys are watching. So the 30-year rate at 6.19 sounds okay compared to, recent use Cash App roll-up saving. Okay. Sue's giving an endorsement for Cash App roll-up saving. That could be. Now, is that in Bitcoin or is that in the raw sewage that the Federal Reserve pumps out every single day? Just asking. Now, the 15-year rate is at 5.55%. Again, better. Just not really good. If you can wait to get into the real estate market, probably a good idea to do so. And again, if you're in and you're able to invest in Bitcoin and some of those other, again, I'm going to unabashedly deny any speculation that says that I am a financial advisor. Please get that out of your mind. I don't have a tie. There are no other indications. There's no indications whatsoever that I am a financial advisor. So please do not get that into your head. I am not telling you what to do with your money at all. I would never do that. I just suggest things that I see as being, how would you say, prosperous, advantageous, successful in the terms of, return of investment. These are the things that I believe that are going to work. These are some of them that I have invested in myself. Now, one of the favorites that you all know, if you've been watching this, that I have is the Theta Labs project, which manifests in the Theta token. Now, the Theta token is very low. I want to say it's 40 some cents, which is ridiculously low off of their $14 or $18 high in 2021, right? Well, they have another coin that runs it's the currency of their blockchain called T-Fuel, 2 cents. 2 cents, ladies and gentlemen. 2 cents. Now, if you gather using this very low price of 2 cents, 10,000 of those T-Fuel coins, you can then do what's called stake. What does that mean? How do we do it? I can show you Bitcoin Otter at secure, S-E-K-U-R, secure.com, or hit me up on Facebook Messenger, whatever you want to do. But I can show you how to do that. Why would you do that? 7%. Yes, it pays in T-Fuel, but 7% of whatever it's going to cost you, 2 cents. Somebody do the math. I'm live here at the McAllen Creative Incubator on 97.7 KCYP, the city. Now, you get yourself 10,000 of those coins at 2 cents a piece, so it's not that difficult. 2 cents a piece. You will be paid, your reward will be 7%, okay? And you will see this monthly. It gathers in, man, blammo, right in your wallet. Day by day, in fact, it's being paid out to you, okay? A little bit of logistics there, whatever. If I can do it, you can do it. I can show you how to do it. But I'll tell you right now, you get paid 7%. Where are you going to get 7% on funny money? Huh? Where are you going to get 7% on your Federal Reserve notes? You won't. You won't. Now, this is, of course, the verse of the day. This was on verseoftheday.com. If you're ever wondering where I get these, normally it's from verseoftheday.com. Sometimes it's from my own studies, other times from other sources, but this one today is from verseoftheday.com. Hebrews 13:6. So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? That is an awesome outlook. It casts the blessings upon your perspective of faith. Faith has so many blessings. I cannot tell you in a very short program how many blessings faith has. Yes, we can put our faith in things that are not going to pan out, but God is definitely not one of those people. Okay? God is the ultimate person to put your faith in. Things might not work out the way we want them to, but if we have God in our focus, they're going to work out for our benefit, one way or the other. It could be painful. I got to warn you, God loves you. And sometimes, our parents used to, wah-pow, pow, right? Because we needed it. So if God needs to trim our habits, trim our outlook, trim our this, that, or the other thing, but the guarantee is he won't trim any physical appendages to change your gender. You're guaranteed of that, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen. God will not do that. He made you perfectly, okay? And if anything failed in that proposition, it was definitely not God. It was us. Now, this is out of Coin Telegraph. Very interesting here. And I'm going to give you a take on why I believe Bitcoin is tanking. So the reason I believe Bitcoin is tanking is that, well, the usual suspects are involved. Let me put it to you that way. But also an optimistic, positive look coming right up. Cathie Wood. Now, if you have looked into cryptos in any way or form, you know that Cathie Wood is a venture capitalist CEO, I believe, of a I can't remember the name of her fund, but she's smart. Let's just say she's smart, right? So Cathie Wood drops Bitcoin forecast by 300,000, okay? Says stable coins eroding market share. Now, prior to this unexpected, Here, let me get into it, and then I'll tell you why. It's lessened from a certain number, but it's lessened by 300,000, she says. Her estimation. Given what's happening to stable coins, key, ding, ding, remember that. Given what's happening to stable coins, which are serving emerging markets in a way that we thought Bitcoin would. If you're listening to this driving, I'm putting my finger up against my head as if I'm thinking, and I'm a smart person. Okay, I can fake this on the air that I'm a smart person. So I tap my head as if I'm thinking, because some people thought Bitcoin would serve the emerging markets in the way that stablecoins are. And I'll get into this in a little bit as to why stablecoins are serving these emerging markets. I think we could, this is again, Kathy, I think we could take maybe $300,000 off that bullish case just for stablecoins. Okay. So what she believes, or what she did believe, was that by the year 2030, one Bitcoin would cost $1.5 million. Hedging that estimation by 100,000 because of the use of stablecoins. So this is what Cointelegraph continues. It says that the US dollar pegged stablecoins could siphon over $1 trillion from legacy banking systems in emerging markets by 2028. According to International Bank Standard Chartered. I guess Standard Chartered is something to listen to. I don't know. I'm not sure. It also goes on to say, and I'm going to summarize this, and I'm going to put my spin on it, my twist on it, my opinion in a minute. Let me look, see if we have any comments here.
We got a bunch of comments.
Oh, really? What do we got?
We got, okay, start off with Susan.
Sue?
Yeah. It's saying use Cash App roll-up saving.
Okay.
And she said raw sewage, but you can buy Bitcoin from the app as well. Then Barry says what's up?
All right, Barry.
Corinne says hi, Papa. And then Susan says Papa says hi, Rainy.
Big Papa.
Yeah.
Big Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Corinne, hello. Johnny, Zaya, Audrey, if you woke up from your nap. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Y mi amor también, si está mirando La Maravilla. A ver, pues, más o menos. Mejor menos. But what I am telling you right now, yes, Sue, also on that roll-up thing with Cash App. That's a good idea. That is in lieu of discipline. And I know I'm not the most disciplined guy in the world, so that does help. Now, this statement here that's on Cointelegraph, sorry, having a family reunion. Oh, yes, we are. We are, it appears. Now, the legacy banking system in emerging markets are going to be siphoned off, according to International Bank Standard Chartered. Okay, let me go on with this. This is particularly true for jurisdictions that suffer from hyperinflation. Very important, ladies and gentlemen. Sanctions. Can we say sanctions? Russia? Or currency controls, such as Venezuela and Argentina. Hey, a shout out to President Milei in Argentina. Gotta love that guy. Forcing residents to save in alternative fiat currencies, such as the US dollar, to protect their purchasing power. They can do this from their country without going to a stinking bank. And I said stinking with all the putrefied wrapped up in it, because these international bankers, this cartel that has been ruling over us for generations, since 1913 in this country, okay, is putrid. It's a drag on humanity itself, okay? Now, what they are articulating here is that these stable coins are going to be used in such a way that they can assist up-and-coming nations. Better said, people in up-and-coming nations. Real people with a little bit of help, a little bit of assistance, which is why we started this show. Why? When Joe and I met up at a church, 3.5 years ago. Maybe more. Maybe we're going on 4. I don't know. But Joe said, hey, you want to do a radio show? Why, yes, Joe, I do. And here we are, 3 or 4 years later. Now, we started it because there are people out there that don't know how to use crypto. They don't know how to invest in crypto. And I saw then and I see now an acceleration in the event horizon of a Federal Reserve crash. I don't want you wrapped up in that. So even though I'm not a financial advisor by any stretch, I've done things to protect my family. And I want to share with you what I've done. Now, what am I talking about with these stable coins? There's a few things here. First of all, if you've been paying attention, the Trump administration has been touting the effectiveness of stablecoins. Okay? They've also opened up the regulatory space for stablecoins. In the same act or motion of opening up stablecoins in the regulatory fashion so that they become more easily used and less scrutinized by the usual suspects, they have also put in rules that will solidify stablecoins so that they are even more stable than your Federal Reserve note, because the Federal Reserve note is very, very unstable. Now, when we get to use these stablecoins, when we as humans get to use these stablecoins, we have automatically gone into the alternative system. This system that's going to crash, go off the cliff, is designed to crash and go off the cliff with all of your assets. Everything that you've owned for however long you've worked is designed to go off that cliff, right into the gaping maw of BlackRock. Okay? Into the gaping maw of the Federal Reserve, never to be seen again by you. Ask people in Hawaii, Lahaina. Ask people in the Pacific Palisades in California. 2 communist states. Sorry if you live there. So these are the types of things that are going to occur apace, if you will. It will accelerate. However, the good guys, the patriots, the white hats, whatever you want to call them, they already have a plan. They already have a plan. It's an alternative monetary system. And it's already taken off. You want to get on board? Hit me up. Hit me up. I will help you do that. Okay? I will help you do that. Now, these stable coins are going to be used as in a way that people like, very smart people like Kathy Wood didn't really see coming. Why? Because they weren't paying attention to the Donald Trump plan. The plan that says, hey, let's put America first. But you know what? We can help out these emerging nations while we're doing it. We can do that because we don't want them going down the tube. We want trade partners. Let's help them out. So I'm going to present something here. I'm going to present an optimistic theory that says these stable coins are going to assist us in the act of keeping our households, our very country, if we adopt them correctly, from going down the tube with the Federal Reserve note. Okay? So as I can see now, my feed on, I think it's Christopher Ott, is frozen. At least here in the studio, it's frozen. And just as I was explaining the alternative monetary system. Now, that may or may not be a coincidence. I don't know. So, when I'm talking about this, I must say that if and when the complete transition is made from the fiat Federal Reserve note to the asset-backed and not debt-ridden at all Treasury note, I'll bet you it has something to do with these stablecoins. I'm willing to bet that these stablecoins will play a very pivotal role in the transition from the traditional debt-based fiat thievery system into the asset-backed real money system of the U.S. Treasury. We will change, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm saying it now. We will change from the Internal Revenue Service to the Trump administration's External Revenue Service. What's the difference? Oh, there's a world of difference. The IRS has a Gestapo wing. It's called your furniture. Actually, they're the Gestapo wing of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has a Gestapo wing. It's called the IRS. The IRS will steal your furniture if they think you haven't paid enough. Okay? That will be out the window. What along with it? The income tax. Afuera! It's gone, baby. Gone, baby, gone. Because with the External Revenue Service, we will be bringing in revenue from outside of the United States in the form of tariffs. Oh, but Otter, the federal budget, the federal government's too big. It can't be run by tariffs. We won't be able to sell anything outside of our country and all this and that. No. Again, just remember that the federal government is fat. And one of the reasons for this furlough, other than the Upchuck Schumer blockage of it, it's like a bad colon. He blocks it up. So the Schumer guy, Upchuck, he, is a pawn in all this. Let me just say, and shorten the whole thing, after 60 days, this is in the CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. After 60 days of furlough, agents of the federal government and whole agencies can be done away with in what's called a reduction in force. It's a RIF, reduction in force. Takes 60 days of furlough. We're now in day 37, I believe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is hope. There is always hope with Jesus Christ. There is always hope, without a doubt. Now, this is out of Zero Hedge. Germany submits to Islam. Christmas market in Overath canceled. Do you remember when a car drove through there and, it was one of those people that the mainstream media will never tell you hates you, but they hate you. And they'd like to run you over at things like Christmas markets or any type of celebration, any type of get together of people that don't belong to a certain persuasion, and these people, this certain persuasion, is made up of people that are not Christians. They don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe in the resurrection. They don't believe in any of that. So, yes, my feed. It looks like my feed was completely cut off on Christopher Ott. The looks like the usual suspects are doing their worst. This is their worst. But again, we are going to change this dynamic one of these days when I get on it. And I, Lord willing, will be retiring soon. But I don't know. Anybody come up on YouTube? Hopefully Joe can see that on the restream. But yeah, I'm off on Bitcoin Otter or on Christopher Ott.
Yeah, it shows that you're off here. It just says unable to connect.
Yeah. So we're unable to connect. I got cut off, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud of that. They didn't bother. They didn't bother giving me any complaints. They didn't bother giving me any strikes. Nothing like that. But we're going good on the Bitcoin Otter page, which has many, many fewer followers, which I think probably plays a critical point in the equation, as it were. So
We're on our Facebook on the station.
okay, we're on 97.7. Okay, we're doing well on that. But the one that has almost 900 followers is cut off. So yeah, it's I'm gonna read off. Barry's probably not watching anymore, but see, he says my wife woke up from her nap and her name is Audrey. She's listening to. Well, hello, Audrey Songer. Nice to meet you, ma'am. Sue says, are they on the blockchain? Are they backed by something stable? I don't know anything about stable coins. So the new rules, Sue, I don't know if you're still watching. I hope you are. But the new rules say that they will be, at least when they're up and going as a legitimate portion of the new financial service, they will be backed by stable backing, meaning gold, silver, Bitcoin, or perhaps even I've heard natural resources like oil or something like that. So a basket, I guess they call of reserves, right? So on the blockchain, yes, they will definitely be on the blockchain. And let's see what else we got. Okay, so that was it. They cut us off, guys. I don't know if you're coming back on. I don't think the show is coming back on. They completely cut me off. This is it, guys. I've said I'm going to do this. I'll be on vacation for a little bit, so I'm going to have to go into Rumble. I'm going to have to dump this this Facebook thing. So I don't know. Maybe I can go back live. I don't know, Joe, if we can go back live on that. I don't know. Midstream. I don't know that we could do that. So we're still on a few others, and we'll keep going. We will endeavor to persevere. So now, if you are a Christian, you have to know that we are under attack. And Donald Trump has brought this to the attention of the international authorities, if such a thing exists, by saying that the African Christians are being murdered at a crazy rate. So it's not just that we're noticing, but in the German town of Overath, this year's Christmas market has been canceled. The cost of protecting visitors from potential terrorist attacks exceeds the organizer's budget. The city refuses expenses, a capitulation to Islamism, which is Germany. I can't really blame Germany after the raw deal they were given in World War I and the end of World War II. Otter, are you crazy? World craziness of the Nazis, this, that, they were killing this many, 6 million. No, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I want to highlight the next thing I had here. Okay, if you're back on Bitcoin Otter, or the Christopher Ott page, hopefully that'll work for us. Let's see if you guys are going to be able to tune in. Let's see. We were, there we go. We were cut off, just like the sad, I'm not going to go into the transgender thing, but let's just say that if transgender, that things are cut off. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. We are not transgender here. Now, if you're an adult and you decide to cut stuff off, that's great. But leave children alone, please. Thank you. So we're back up. Sue came back. Sue, they cut us off. Maybe Barry will be back on. I don't know, but they cut us off. They were very rude, and that's Facebook for you. So we're back. We were always on, by the way, Sue. We were always on Bitcoin Otter, and we were always on YouTube. It's that I have 800 and something, almost 900 followers now on the Christopher Ott one, and they definitely don't want anywhere near that many people learning about the truth. So I just covered that a Christmas market has been canceled in Germany because they can't protect people from the drive-by crazies that run everyone down. They don't know, they can't pay for that. We're going on the show right now, and simultaneously on Zero Hedge is a debate that touches on what I was just mentioning. It touches on why we were lied to about, or were we lied to about World War II. Okay, it's on currently, and we can watch it or listen to it afterward. ZeroHedge.com. I think they have Facebook and YouTube channel also, and they have three people debating about whether Churchill and FDR were the good guys. I'll tell you right now, categorically, they were not, and they were evil. Yes, everything we were told, everything we were taught about World War II was a lie and lies. Okay, we'll see what happens in this debate. I'll watch it later. Here's something interesting. Nancy Pelosi finally retiring from Congress at 472 years old. No, let me edit that. 85. There has been no greater honor, says that. I'm going to keep my language good. Yeah, I promise. There's been no greater honor for me than to stand on the House floor and say, I speak for the people of San Francisco, even the ones that are dropping deuces on the streets. Nance, I have truly loved serving as your voice in Congress and always honored the soul of Saint Francisco. Wow, you have, well, yeah, sure. Hello, Eileen. Marcos, good to see you. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace, says Nancy Pelosi. The anthem of our city, says Nancy Pelosi. Which Lord she was referring to is unclear. Now, Trump's response to this is, the retirement of Nancy Pelosi is a great thing for America. She was evil, corrupt, and only focused on bad things for our country. She was rapidly losing control of her party, and it was never coming back. I'm very honored she impeached me twice, says Trump, and failed miserably twice. Nancy Pelosi is a highly overrated politician. Amen to that, Donald. Amen to that, Mr. President. Yeah, I would be proud also to be impeached for. I remember I took it off because it was getting ugly. It was wearing off and folding, but I had a sticker right here saying I'm not orange, I'm peach, saying that Donald Trump was impeached. If I got impeached by communists, in fact, we were just impeached by communists, Joe. Holy tamale. We were thinking, if we were just impeached by communists a minute ago, the Christopher Ott with 800 some followers was denied any type of airplay because while the others were still rolling, right? The Bitcoin Otter Facebook page. So I had 2 Facebook pages going, yet they chose the one with almost 900 followers to censor right when exactly at the cue of me explaining, and let's see if it happens again, the alternative monetary system that the Trump administration is enacting that you and me can jump on board with. You and me can jump on board with safe, accountable, and real money coming soon to a crypto wallet near you. Or maybe your regular wallet. Well, they didn't shut it off. Anyway, the Gateway Pundit says Illinois congressman deliberately misrepresented facts regarding ICE arrest on preschool teacher, and DHS responds with facts. Now, I don't know, you might have heard this. Oh, ICE is going crazy. They're arresting, preschool teachers. No. This is from the Gateway Pundit. Congressman Mike Quigley, what a geek, tried to stir up outrage after claiming ICE took a preschool teacher into custody in front of children in his district. Who would ever vote for weenies like this? Illinois. My questions have been answered. Quigley wrote on X, ICE isn't going after the worst of the worst. This morning, they took a preschool teacher without a warrant. Oh, by the way, ICE doesn't need a warrant to arrest illegal aliens. Just putting that in there. In front of our children, he says. These are the same children that die of fentanyl and gunshots every single day in the streets of Illinois that he doesn't care about. In my district, he doesn't care about his district. The female, an illegal alien from Colombia, was not a teacher at the school. The suspect fled into a daycare, putting other people's children in danger. That's what this is all about. They put other people's children in danger. Same with you, Quigley. To avoid arrest. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're fighting against. We are fighting against people that will put other people's children in danger to get what they want. This woman from Colombia, it was an FTY, a failure to yield. So her boyfriend, husband, whatever he had failed to yield for police when they wanted to pull him over. Or maybe it was ICE, I don't know. But he ran, he just took off, endangering the public. Somebody crossing the street, he's in a vehicle, right? 2,000-3,000 pounds of whatever are going to kill you. So they find a daycare center. She basically flees on foot into the daycare center. You can't let somebody like that, who knows what that person is going to do? Maybe she was going to hurt a child. I don't know. We don't know. You got to go get her. So you got to go into the place, right? Which is a danger to children if she decides to grab a child. Hey, hurt a child. Better a child than her, she thinks. Better hurt somebody else's child than me. These are the people we want back in their own countries, ladies and gentlemen. The ones that endanger other people's children. Oh, yeah, but if ICE wasn't behind her, she wouldn't have been running. Well, she'd have been doing it in some different way. I'll tell you that much right now. Because that's what people like that do. What do you got, Joe?
At Paco Hertes, I think it is.
Okay.
Mr. Otter, what do you think will the Supreme Court overturn tariffs? Or will the Supreme Court overturn tariffs?
Great. You know what? I want to show you, Paco, that I had this written down. I had this written down, and I was going to mention this. But now that you asked the question, please let me give you my opinion on this. I believe that not only will the Supreme Court uphold the fact that the Trump administration is in its complete legal purview to levy tariffs against other nations and the goods, not against other nations, but the goods that are being received into America from other nations, right? We have tariffs on that. Now, I don't have at my disposal right now. Somebody with AI at their fingertips might, but many U.S. presidents have enacted the tariff solution to budget deficits many times before. That money has gone into the Treasury, and prior to the evil Federal Reserve, we ran our very much smaller federal government off of those very same tariffs. Yes, we did. So I find no reason other than corruption as a reason for the Supreme Court to rule that the Trump administration cannot utilize tariffs. Okay. Now, the reason why it was even brought that far was because tariffs are a key asset, a key tool, a key weapon against the current monetary system. How do I mean that? I mean that when it comes time to break away from, and this is when the Christopher Ott Facebook page was broken firstly. So you've got your criminal financial system going on now since 1913, right? It's debt-based. We are crazy in debt, right? All of us, we're debt slaves. The money just keeps losing value, as you can see from gold and silver, which they're trying to put a lockdown on. When these tariffs amass a sufficient, I don't know what critical mass is, I really don't, a sufficient amount in the Treasury, the Overton window, if you will, the political window at which people can handle the truth occurs. And as these conditions align, we will see ourselves as Americans back with the ability to rely on an asset-backed currency that is not debt-based, unlike the Federal Reserve note, okay, the enemy of the people. The central bank has been here since 1913. It's the third iteration of central banks. These central banks are designed to drain prosperity from any nation it worms its way into. Just ask Germany. Now, one of the things that I would say about this case with the tariffs at the Supreme Court is this. We need to listen to their reasoning behind why the executive branch cannot levy tariffs, cannot declare that tariffs are going to be assessed on goods. What is their case? Is it frivolous? Is there merit for it? I suspect not. I suspect it's just going to be another shell game, another crazy, one crazy statement after another. Because if anyone, and they've tried to erase our history, make no bones about that. If anyone thinks back, if anyone has the ability to assess history in its true form, well, truth and history are often juxtaposed, I know. However, if you can assess it in a way that meets your standards, you can see that tariffs are a very useful and patriotic measure. They're a tool to bring sound and reasonable structure to a monetary system, to a government, any government, unless that government's corrupt and they steal this money. But that's what the Federal Reserve is for. We learned that when Doge went into the bowels of the Pentagon and found 14 money makers. 14 money makers, computers that just printed money out of nowhere. No beginning, and who knows where they went, those dollars, those Federal Reserve notes. You can't do that with a tariff-based or an asset-backed currency. You can't do that. Does not compute. Okay, hopefully, Paco, I answered. Do you have a follow-up, Joe?
Yes, from Susan. Let's see, the last one is we need to make it easier for companies to reshore Major obstacles are supply chain.
Absolutely, Sue. Absolutely. I agree 110%, and it's already on the way. In fact, they're getting all kinds of loan, I guess, tidbits deals. They're getting incentives that will allow them to come alongside the communities that they're going to reshore into. It's wonderful. It's awesome, but it's being fought tooth and nail by the usual suspects. Tooth and nail. We're past the halfway point, but I want to remind everybody we're going out on 97.7 KCYP, the city, FM on your dial. Not that anybody has a dial anymore, as we are fully digital. However, we're also going out on Facebook, which has cut us short on the Bitcoin or the Christopher Ott channel, but we're also going out on 97.7 channel Facebook page. We're going out on the Bitcoin Otter Facebook page, and we're on YouTube, both 97.7 and Bitcoin Otter. And we're also on TuneIn Radio and Radio Garden. Now, that being established, hopefully, Paco, I answered your question. If you have any follow-ups, I have more opinions on that. But until then, we'll move on to the former DOJ lawyer who threw a sandwich at federal officer found not guilty. He might be a gelding. We don't know. But anyway, found not guilty by D.C. jury. Gee, does that surprise us in D.C.? Commieland, D.C.? No, that does not surprise us. A man in a salmon-colored T-shirt was caught on video throwing a sandwich at a federal officer in D.C. I don't know if you remember this. Over the summer, after President Trump deployed the National Guard to patrol the streets. The sandwich thrower was identified as 37-year-old Sean Charles Dunn, a DOJ trial attorney. Ladies and gentlemen, traitorous acts are all about us. Traitors are all among us. Yes. So the sandwich thrower was not guilty. It was even misdemeanor. They dropped anything else more serious, and this guy was being weighed whether or not it was a misdemeanor to throw an object like that at a federal officer, and apparently it wasn't. Why? Why was it ruled this way? Because this is my opinion now, and I'm sticking to it. Because they want more things thrown at federal officers. They want heavier things thrown at federal officers. They want more violence to occur on our streets to our federal officers. That's why, ladies and gentlemen. That's why. That's why he was not punished. That's why he was acquitted, found not guilty. Because they want it to occur more. DC is a cesspool and it needs an enema. Man released early from prison for prior stabbing. This is again the Gateway Pundit. Man released early from prison for prior stabbing, brutally stabs teen to death at Walmart for kicking his shopping cart. Now, that's the official story. The kid had a different story. He lived for like 3 days before he died. Delano Middleton, 48, fatally stabbed 18-year-old JT Schroeder. Fatally stabbed him, 18-year-old. At Walmart in Georgia on White Marsh Island late last month after the teen supposedly kicked his shopping cart. Middleton was released early from prison and put on probation in 23 after he stabbed a woman in a grocery store parking lot. Ladies and gentlemen, I would get into this. I know we're on Facebook, but there are colors involved. And I have no doubt that you could mentally imagine what those colors are all about. Middleton's other stabbing victim, Erica Young, spoke out after JT Schroeder was stabbed to death, 18 years old. The system failed that kid's family, said Erica Young in an interview with WTOC. I don't know where that was, but yeah, the system failed that kid's family. But you know what? The system didn't get that young man, JT Schroeder, killed on accident. Ladies and gentlemen, just like the crooked system in DC wants people to throw things heavier and more destructive than a sandwich at federal agents, the system wants people to stab more people. I do not like violence. I do not promote violence. I do not, Facebook, incite violence. I do not, no matter what your allegations may be. What the fact of the matter is that our courts are doing that. Our judicial crooked judicial system is doing that. Judges like Boasberg, right? Other guys, I don't know, prosecutors like Fannie Willis. These are the people that really want violence to be brought against people they don't like. Why don't they like us? Because we're about freedom. We are about freedom. We are patriots of a country called the United States. We are not globalists, and we certainly are not Zionists. There's the rub. I said it. Here's a guy. Here's a guy. Newly elected New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani begs for donations less than 24 hours after his win. Wants everything free but needs your money to make it happen. Oh, we're frozen again. Isn't that a coinkydink? We're frozen again. Look at that. Look at that. Frozen, and frozen. Wow. That is amazing. So it looks like we're back up again. I'm not sure. This is Facebook no bueno. Facebook no bueno.
It's your channel.
They're targeting with the most followers is what they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are. So if it goes against their agenda, they're going to cut you off. They're watching it. Probably not. They're probably still on mama's couch in the basement, but they have AI programmed to cut every time we expose the usual suspects for who they are. Now, I don't know if it cut right after I used the word Zionist. Maybe it did, or it could have been the violence that was displayed by the people who love Facebook and who Facebook is made up of, or who rules over Facebook. Because remember, if you ever want to find out who rules over you, all you have to do is remember who you cannot criticize. I didn't say that. I didn't make it up. But that's the way things are. So if you're reestablished, if your connection is reestablished, just know that I was pointing out the evils of our system as we were once again cut off. And the only channel we're being cut off from is the one that has almost 900 followers. Yeah, take that one to the bank. So this communist Mamdani begs for donations. Just one day after victory, the self-proclaimed champion of free everything for the masses took to X with a shameless video plea, begging his supporters for cash to fund his so-called transition into power. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this man has a swift transition out of power. May it be, may it be, may it be. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few minutes left. All I want to do is say that there are people just like us out there that love our country, that love the people of our country, that love other countries and other people in other countries. I put America first on this earth. When it comes to my faith, I put my true home, my eternal home first. That is the place that Jesus Christ has set aside for me. So I would like to call myself an interdimensional being, meaning I live in two places at one time. I live in the kingdom of God, and I live in these oppressed kingdoms of our enemy here on earth. Now, when these power struggles between good and evil occur, we want to be on the right side. We don't want to be, of course, and certainly we don't want to be on the bad side. We don't want to be on the enemy's side, okay? We want to be on the king's side. And while there are no kings according to communists, there are not really kings in America anyway. There are real kings in the spiritual world, the real world, if you will. They call it supernatural, and it certainly is. Our king is supernatural, Jesus Christ. So I serve him first. But I'll tell you what, on this earth, there is no better place to be than in the United States of America. The evil purveyors of evil are trying to stop that, but we won't let them. Why? Because we know God is with us. How do we know this? There are signs. There are signs, and you will see them. You will see them. But he won't be with us if we're not with him. He doesn't force us to be with him. He just says, hey, this is for your betterment. Take it or leave it. He gives us free will. We can do what we want. So I'll tell you what I want. That's freedom for everyone, including you, your families, all of you. Freedom. And I'll tell you what, that is where the battle is right here and now. Freedom, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what we want. Not to do evil, not to do violence, not to do anything against any other human or against God for that matter. But the freedom to be us, to feed our families, to supply for them what it is they need, using a job, using a business, using our own brains. That is our right as Americans, as humans. But America espouses the divine bestowing of rights more than any other nation on the face of this earth. It's in our founding documents that our rights are not given to us by government. Our rights are bestowed to us, bestowed upon us from heaven, God himself. And we thank you, Lord, for that. So, as a parting plea, I ask God to watch over us, watch over our country, and watch over you and your families. Because that is the type of solid foundation the United States has been built upon. Don't believe any of those professor types who want you to say that we're completely secular. If we were, we'd be downtrodden just like all the other nations under the evils of the Federal Reserve and their owners. We are not. And we are freeing ourselves as we speak from that oppression. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord Jesus. And thank you for watching. May God bless you. May God bless your families. And God bless America. The Otter is out.
This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show
Oh my God, I love you so much.
on 97.